some numbers here from tonight's SONA. We have 2 standing ovations. We have 125 rounds of applause, 82 minutes in total, longer than his previous SONAs. First of all, did this meet your expectation? And what were the hits and misses of the third State of the Nation address of the President?
To be honest with you, I don't know whether it should be measured in terms of standing ovations and applauses, no. But what makes those reactions from those who attended the SONA remarkable is, well, of course, perhaps they weren't expecting a SONA that would explain details, no, of what the president intends to do and what the government is actually doing, no. So as you've mentioned, no, the speech or the presentation of the president has been quite substantial, no, to say the least, and so perhaps many of those who attended weren't expecting, no, that it would be to that kind of detail. Not to mention, of course, the surprises you've mentioned, no? The banning of the Pogo, and to my mind, no, it's very much related, no, to the issue of the West Philippine Sea and the strategy, no, that China has been employing as far as its counterclaim, no, to the West Philippine Sea.
Yeah, with regard to that, of course, right before the SONA, we did hear the press releases from both China and the Philippines about how future RORE missions in the West Philippine Sea to the Ayungin Shoal also will happen. It seems to us, no, na parang, kumbaga, Prof, bumalik lang siya dun sa dating usapan, no? Or I call it personally, the paalam and paalam. Diba? The China says, nagpapaalam tayo. The Philippines says, magpapaalam lang tayo. What are your thoughts? Do you feel na, kumbaga, we took steps back instead of forward when it comes to that?
Well, let me say that I've been there, no, myself. And when you say nagpapaalam, no, kaya nga halos pareho, pareho ng spelling, no, but the intonation, of course, no, owing to the vernacular, is also because of the intent, no. If we will try to be linguistic about it, no. So the effect is the same, no, in the sense that the intent is to inform your counterpart, but as to whether the kind of information is to ask what was this, a permission, or plain and simple informing the counterpart, is an entirely different tone, no, or thing entirely, no. So kailangan mong magpaalam, o sabihin na natin kahit na ang daming kasing kumbaga interpretasyon dito, kahit pa sabihin mo na ikaw ay nagpapaalam, at the end of the day, both parties are avoiding mishaps, or should we say miscommunication, and ultimately, no, avoiding escalating, no, what is already escalated tension. Kahit na ang bansang China iniiwasan yung umabot doon sa punto na magkakaroon ng putukan, no, kaya nga sila yung nag-imbento ng gray zone, eh. Kaya nga as much as possible ini-exhaust nila lahat na yata ng klase ng aksyon na pwedeng gawin without crossing the Rubicon, so to speak, no, ginagawa ng China. So from our part, the most that we can do at the very least is also exhaust the diplomatic means, and this includes, of course, informing them, no. So but what makes it to my mind, no, not going back to, as you've mentioned, no, parang bumabalik tayo doon sa dating arrangement, the overall foreign policy structure, no, the overall strategy of the government is to really expose China, to inform the whole world what China is actually doing. Hindi naman natin ginagawa yun before, no. Ngayon, bawat galaw ng China, bawat encounter with our counterpart, nababasa natin sa balita, nadidinig natin, at maraming mga grupo, maraming mga interest na nagko-komento dito. In fact, it's only recently also that we've heard several allies categorically speaking in support of us. Dati ang inaasahan lang natin yung mga traditional allies natin like US, Australia, Japan, but now including France and if I'm not mistaken, even the United Kingdom have mentioned categorical support to our cause. So to my mind, that is quite a milestone.
What about the president saying the word de-escalation specifically? Sinabi niya, lumabas sa kanyang bibig, de-escalation. Is that some sort of mandate? Is that some sort of policy-ish kind of thing? What do you think?
Again, kahit na sino ang naandun, sa totoo lang, as much as possible, you will try to de-escalate. Kasi nga, ayaw mo naman na dumating doon sa punto na, kumbaga, hindi ka na makakabalik, the point of no return, so to speak. We have so much to lose, actually, in this particular regard, especially our fisher folk. And so, if you are the president or anyone who's directly involved in that regard, you will really be very careful, very circumspect, not only with what you do, but more importantly also with what you say. Because at the end of the day, it's always a question. It's a waiting game. It's an interpretation game. It's a perception. So, sa madalit sabi, you don't want to, have yourself caught flat-footed in this regard.
Prof. Edmond, going to another topic that garnered a standing ovation in President Marcos' SONA was his ban on pogos. And previously, there were no direct statements or comments from President Marcos on this issue. Do you think it was a conscious effort or a planned move on his end to announce this in the SONA?
Alam nyo, marami nagsasabi na, sabi nyo nga doon sa report nyo kanina, some analysts would say na this is an indication of a complete break-up or separation from what's this alliance or understanding with the previous administration. Yeah, you could say it in that particular sense, but I remember also the president having been quoted in regard to not only POGO but also with the ICC investigation and the possibility of issuing a warrant of arrest, na ang linya ng gobyerno ng Pangulo at ng kahit ng ating DOJ Secretary, ito ay kailangan pag-aralan ng gusto. Sa madalit sabi, hindi pa sila nagbigay ng categorical na sagot. At ngayon, sa palagay ko, dahil sa napakaraming lumabas na mga reports and complaints, and I think the President mentioned a good number of those complaints, I suppose it was considered a good time to finally put it to end. Of course, you could also interpret that precisely because of the separation between the two political groups, it became easier for the President to express that more categorical position, so to speak.
Okay, do you think this will be, anong basa ninyo dito sa total ban on POGOs? Kasi kanina pinag-uusapan namin, kung may legal impediments dito sa pagbaba ng POGO, do you think, is this going to be an all-out ban, or kasi meron din yung internet gaming license?
Mm-hmm. Well, titingnan natin kung paanong implementation. Ang sabi nga ng Pangulo kanina, hanggang sa katapusan nitong taon na ito, kumbaga magkakaroon ng, bibigyan ng pagkakataon ng PAGCOR to, transition, so to speak, the operation of POGO. So siguro, hahanapan ng paraan kung paano mabibigyan ng kapalit na economic opportunity yung mga place ng POGO operations. But as to the legal impediments, I suppose, of course, legal experts have already weighed in on separate issues in this regard. I don't think the president and the policy makers surrounding him would mention publicly something that is not implementable. So ang bottom line kasi dito yung kwan yung what's this long-term effect. At ano pa yung implication ng operation ng Pogo? Bear in mind that it's not only an economic issue. At yun ang lumalabas pag tiningnan ninyo yung social media, ang daming nagrereklamo doon sa pagbaban ng Pogo na kesyo makakadagdag daw ito sa kahirapan and so on and so forth. Pero hindi nababanggit yung mga lumabas na mga reports no ng mga investigasyon recently na itong mga Pogo na ito nagagamit sa ibang purpose no ng mga may-ari nito. So dapat tingnan nating mabuti ano ba yung kumbaga what led no the president to this particular end. And again, as you've mentioned, no, it's not like before. Even with some groups already raising concern as far as the Pogos are concerned, including local governments and local communities for that matter, hindi naman nag-ban kaagad ang gobyerno. Ngayon lang natin ito nadinig. So siguro, sa madalit sabi, binigyan na ng tingin. No? In other words, they really looked into no, the information that's getting to the government to arrive at this decision or conclusion.
Okay, ikot ko lang, Prof, no? Circling it back to what you said about the total breakdown of the Uniteam Alliance and how this total ban on Pogo seems to allude to that as well as the ICC probe. Yung isa pang sinabi ni President Marcos no, in the middle of his speech was the bloodless drug war. He basically said that he has kind of also helped solve the drug problem, perhaps not totally, but marginally, and that it is bloodless. Do you think some sort of pasaring yan sa previous administration now that, you know, all the cards are now on the table and we all now know and accept na tapos na ang Uniteam?
Alam mo, lahat ng pwedeng interpretasyon pwede naman natin gamitin dyan. We don't have to make the obvious, no, so to speak. But hindi naman lingid sa kaalaman ng iba na pagdating sa issue ng drugs, kahit na sa kampanya ng Pangulo sa natatandaan ko, at hindi lang ang Pangulo nung tumatakbo at kumakandidato nung panahon na yon, ang nag-criticize doon sa paraan ng pag-handle ng drug war nung nakaraang administrasyon. Siguro po pwede nating sabihin na dahil nga meron ng kumbaga opisyal na ang hiwalayan no, ng grupo ng dating Pangulo at grupo ng ating Pangulo ngayon, mas madali na para sa Pangulong Marcos na sabihin ito. Pero lumalabas naman ang ibang approach ng gobyerno nung una pa lang. Ano? At ulitin natin, isa sa mga naging controversial issue itong effort against the drug war. But perhaps it's also worth mentioning that after the end of the previous administration, hindi na masyadong napag-uusapan. Siguro this is also an effort to inform the public that, hey, I'm still continuing many of the initiatives of the previous administration, not only of the immediate preceding administration, but even before that, including the massive infrastructure development efforts of the government. No? But the difference, of course, is in the approach no, that the current government is using no, in continuing many of these programs. I mentioned this because you know we at our group made a nationwide study just recently, and one of those mentioned by the respondents that they appreciate is that the government has been able to not been able, but categorically mentioned that they are continuing many of the very useful programs of different administrations before, including the immediate past administration. So siguro this is an effort of the President to mention that, hey, tinutuloy namin ito pero iba lang yung pamamaraan na.
Pero maglalagay lang ako ng konting fact-checking kasi may nababasa na tayo kanina that from July 2023 to June 30th, 2024, there have been 359 killings, 34.3% of which state agents are responsible for. So ibig sabihin, hindi pa rin nawawala. Meron pa rin mga extrajudicial killings na nangyayari. Just to put that into context. All right.
Pero yung mga reports na yun, Gretchen, I wonder, no, because I hope that those reports can really be discussed, no, openly. I hope that we can identify kung these incidents are drug related or not, no. And if it is drug related, then definitely dapat i-flag natin yan kasi that means there is an inconsistency with what the government is doing and saying.
He did mention there have been drug convictions as well as the reduction in incidents in the barangay level.
By 32%. I recall the figure. Okay. Ikot-ikutin naman natin, Prof, no? What were you expecting to hear that you did not hear? We understand, napaka-meaty nung ano. Kumbaga, parang summary per department. It was coming hot and fast. So many terms, so many new terms, acronyms.
data.
Yeah, so much data. What, for you, did not make it to that speech that you wish did make it?
Well, halos lahat naman ng inaasahan ko nabanggit, ano, pero meron akong hindi kumbaga may kulang doon sa nabanggit ng Pangulo tungkol doon sa rice tariffication. At unang-una 'yon sa part ng kanyang SONA, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, at nabanggit niya nga yung kahirapan na hinaharap natin ngayon at ano yung mga factors that lead to it. And so he mentioned the rice tariffication as a part of the government's effort to manage, no, the high prices of rice, no. Pero sana nabanggit din at sana meron ding initiative to assess kung paano ba naipatupad yung rice tariffication, kasi sa totoo lang napakarami naman ng reports niyan, hindi naman yan bago, no, na ang dami nagsasabi na yung rice tariffication hindi naman yung mga magsasaka ang nakinabang dito. So sana makita ito. Pangalawa, if you look at the SONA overall, no, ang daming mga sinabing programa ang Pangulo at pati yung strategy natin sa West Philippine Sea, kumbaga comprehensive para sa akin, kasi pati yung trade natin, yung the way that we conduct business with other countries were mentioned in a way that somehow, to my mind, it's related to our way of managing our strategy in the West Philippine Sea. Kasi parang sinasabi niya, okay, gusto nating i-engage ang China pero lagi tayong limitado kasi lahat halos ng kailangan natin, binibili natin sa kanila. So kailangan nating humanap ng ibang merkado, ng ibang source and so on and so forth. Kasama dito itong bigas. Kasi ang laki ng inaangkat natin. Pero yung sa agriculture, hindi din nabanggit yung napaka-importanting element, no. Again, baka naman hindi ko lang nadinig, pero yung the way we manage, no, what's this productive land na napakadaming na alam mo yun, very easily na was this na re-reclassify yung land na imbis na farmland siya at natatamnan, nagiging productive, nako-convert siya sa residential land na hindi naman natitirahan. Meanwhile, effort tayo ng effort para, alam mo, palakasin yung agriculture natin, pero hindi natin nakikita yung isang importante, in fact, fundamental element, which is land. So I suppose, there are what's this constant, no, to my mind, very remarkable efforts at managing, no, day-to-day issues that everyone faces, no, like high price and so on and so forth. Pero yung mga effort na nangyari na, sana tingnan natin at balikan kung baka merong kailangang baguhin, no, para mas maging effective talaga yung initiative ng gobyerno.
Well, talking about land, nabanggit kanina that 130,000 titles have been handed out to beneficiaries. But tama po kayo, yung productivity of that land is another issue that we have to talk about, because giving that to farmers doesn't mean that it will yield production agriculturally, right? So good point there, good catch there. Pero gaya
yun ang paikot-ikot na nangyari na sa atin ever since sa Gretchen. Nag-aaral pa lang ako, pinag-uusapan na yung agrarian reform na yan. Pero kasi yung agrarian reform, nung unang-una pa, limitado lamang doon sa redistribution ng land. Hindi naman doon natatapos yun eh. Kulang ng suporta, kulang ng ayuda sa mga magsasaka natin. In fact, pag redistribute mo yung land, for a while, I can't seem to recall easily now which administration made tried an initiative to corporatize, no, pagsamasamahin kasi naging maliliit itong mga land na to.
Yes, nawawala yung
pwede
economies
namang
of scale, Prof.
pagsamasamahin.
Correct.
Oo, i-corporatize. But hindi naman natuloy, no? So, ewan ko, sana magtuloy-tuloy yung ang dami nating initiative administration in and out, ang daming magagandang initiative. Pero yung follow-through and sustainability ang palaging problema.
Naku, mukhang aantayin natin yung komento ng
Mani-
iba't ibang sektor, ano?
Correct.
Kung sa
At maniningil na naman tayo next year.
Sa technical report ng Pangulo. Okay, maraming salamat. Marami pang pag-uusapan. Pero thank you so much. We appreciate your insights. Political
Thank you
analyst
so much.
Edmond Tayao.